Some toys are meant to comfort children. Others are meant to be forgotten. But tonight's story is about a toy that was never meant to be loved. It was meant to be watched. This is not a story about monsters in the dark or ghosts in abandoned houses, but about what happens when innocence learns how to stare back. So dim the light, put on your headphones, and listen carefully, because once something chooses you, it never really leaves.
Some toys are made to make children feel safe, others are made to make them sleep, and some are made to make sure they never wake up the same again. And tonight, I'm going to tell you about a toy shaped like a cherub, a smiling little angel child carved from porcelain and cloth. A toy meant to represent innocence, yet innocence becomes terrifying when something learns how to imitate it too well. The toy arrived on my doorstep with no return address, sitting inside a small white box tied neatly with a silver ribbon like a baptism gift, and I didn't order it. There was no note, no explanation, just the quiet suggestion that it was meant for me. And inside was the cherub doll with plump cheeks, tiny stitched wings, and glass eyes too realistic for something meant for a child, and I would have thrown it away if it hadn't been holding a small tag stitched into its sleeve that read, "For the lonely," because I lived alone. And that should have been enough to scare me away. But it wasn't. I placed the toy on a shelf in my bedroom, mostly out of laziness, and that night I dreamed of children laughing in empty hallways. Not joyful laughter, but the kind that echoes too long and doesn't stop when it should. And when I woke up, the cherub was sitting on my nightstand, even though I hadn't moved it, and its wings were warmer than the rest of its body, as if it had been holding heat for me. At first the changes were subtle, its head turning slightly toward doors, its eyes angling toward shadows. And once I came home to find it seated facing the wall, as if it had been watching something I couldn't see. And through it all the smile never changed, which somehow made everything worse, because nothing that smiles forever can be innocent. I set up a camera to prove I wasn't losing my mind, and when I reviewed the footage, nothing moved until 3:17 in the morning, when the cherub didn't walk or crawl, but simply appeared. Because in one frame it was on the shelf, and in the next, it was beside my bed looking up at me. And the camera audio caught something else, too, something breathing that wasn't me. I searched everywhere for answers, through collector forums, image searches, and forgotten records, until I found a post titled Cherub Series, discontinued 1953, followed by a single sentence saying the line was removed after reports of auditory hallucinations, sleepwalking, and unexplained deaths. And there was no recall notice or announcement, just an erasure, as if someone hoped time would bury what memory could not. After that, the dreams changed because they stopped being random and started becoming instructions, not spoken but shown. Dreams of locking doors, covering mirrors, hanging salt above windows, and whenever I ignored them, something happened, because my television began turning on by itself every night at exactly 3:17, playing nothing but static, and beneath it, faint laughter that never sounded quite human. The cherub itself began to change too, its smile stretching wider, its wings stiffening, and once I found small handprints on my bathroom mirror, even though the doll's hands were dry, and then it started mimicking me, tilting its head the way I do, sitting the way I sit, watching the door at night the way I do, as if it were practicing being me. I eventually found others who had encountered similar toys. A woman who bought one from a thrift store, a man whose grandmother owned one before vanishing, and a collector who burned his after hearing it cry, and all of them said the same thing, that it doesn't want you dead. It wants you replaced. One night I woke up standing in my living room, confused and cold, and when I looked into my bedroom, I saw the cherub sitting in my bed under my blanket. My blanket, staring back at me with its glass eyes reflecting the moonlight. And that was when I realized it wasn't watching me anymore. It was waiting for me to take my place. I left that night without packing or leaving a note. But sometimes when I close my eyes, I still feel fabric wings brushing against my arm, and I hear something breathing patiently beside me. Because once a cherub chooses you, it doesn't stop following, it just stops pretending. And now I understand that not all angels fall from heaven. Some are stitched, some are carved, some are gifted, and some are sent to make sure you're never truly alone again. So if you ever find a toy that seems too aware, don't thank it, don't keep it, and whatever you do, don't sleep beside it.
They say toys don't move on their own. They say smiles don't mean anything. They say you're just imagining it. But the breathing doesn't stop, and the wings never rest, because the most terrifying things don't chase you. They wait. So if tonight's story followed you into the dark, like, follow, and subscribe for more scary tales. Sleep, wait, or don't.